will do dual enrollment. They are smart enough. Do not underestimate them. I remember one day my son called me, he's in the dean office. Mom, I can't do this AP class because it's just too much work. I said, boy, if I come over there right now, you go back to class. And he was so upset, and the dean came back on the phone, and I said, Mom, what do you say? I said, nothing changed, sending back to class. He wants to be a doctor? This is the test. Of course, he ended up getting a full A's for it. And I was like, Devano, you just have to apply yourself. Do not get them take the easy way out. Push them. Because if you don't push them, they don't know how far they will go. So they have to realize that everything in life, you have to work and work really hard. Okay, so you teach them. So I saved so much money by him doing, what am I doing wrong now? It's stuck. Did it move? Yes, it did. So, so the return on investment, I saved $3,275 for the year just by him doing dual enrollment. So I'm encouraging you, if you have young people who are smart enough, let them take some college credits while they're in high school. It not only saves you money, it also saves them money, and it gets them ready for what to expect when they go into college. So they're actually doing a pre-college before actual college. Okay, so they know what to expect, they know how to do the research, they know what quality writing to expect, and this helps them to develop. And I'm telling you, do not put it past our children. They can do it. Whatever they want to do, they can do it. So when can you start? You can start dual enrollment when you're 16, as long as you have a 2.5 GPA or higher. There's no reason why any of our children should have less than a 2.5 GPA. Some of us, when we were going to school, we had 2, 3, 4 jobs. We had to take taxi, we had to walk how many miles. You tell them. When I tell my kids some of the story about, you know, myself growing up in Jamaica, they're like, Mom, that was in your days. I was like, okay. I was like, I used to have to wash clothes with my hand in the water, and you have a washing machine, and I have to tell you how many times to go and do your laundry, which is how much steps from your room. So I tell them, like, Mom, that was back in your days. And I'm like looking at it, like, I'm not much older than you. What do you mean I'm back in my days? But you have to remind them that they have it a lot better than we did. And if, you know, I could talk to some of you older folks, you're gonna say, girl, that's nothing compared to what I did. I had to walk 6 miles just to get to school. And that was one way. And they just go in their car, drive to school, or get on the school bus, and they're complaining. The conversation in my house sometimes is very real. All right, next slide. Now, one of the other things that I want your young people to do is CLEP. Some people don't know what CLEP is, and I was very shocked that people at my church, young people at my church, did not know what CLEP is. Now, if your children are smart and very good in an area, they can take a test that's gonna cost $80. And if they pass it, they get college credits. So they don't even have to do that course in college. $80. Over 2,500 universities across the US will accept your CLEP examination results. $80. So if you're really, really good in math, go CLEP that algebra or just whatever math it is. Go do it. You're really, really good in science, go CLEP it. You're good in biology, read whatever, prepare yourself, go do the exam. So you don't have to do that course in college. That's saving you thousands of dollars. It's worth it. All right, so Devano did some of that as well. Next. So again, I'm saying 2,900 colleges and universities accept your CLEP exams. $80. It's worth $80. Next slide. And they will accept 120 credits if you CLEP them. So you can clip almost to an associate degree. We need to educate our young people. You can actually finish a bachelor degree in 2 years if you're smart. And it can cost you a fraction of what you're paying right now. Clip them. Tell your grandchildren, tell your friends, tell everybody you know. Educate them. The reason why some young people are not doing these things is because they're not educated. They don't know. And you can't do what you don't know. All right, next slide. The next thing I want to talk about is grants. When I asked some of the young people at my church, did you apply for Bright Futures? They're like, what is that? Well, Bright Futures is a grant that they'll give you based on your GPA. So it's a merit scholarship in a sense. You don't have to pay it back, right? So if you have 4.0 GPA, you're going to get the max for the Bright Future. Apply. Nobody turned down free money. Okay? And Bright Future Scholarship can be completed by all seniors. Now, when I called Bright Future, they said if you graduated within 2 years and you did not apply for Bright Futures, they will still consider your application. Now, you need to do a couple of things. You need to have volunteer hours. You need to, this only applies to the state of Florida, by the way. You have to go to a school, a university in Florida. Next. And of course, you have to be a U.S. citizen or a green card holder. You have to complete your FAFSA. You have to be in high school and going to be earning a high school diploma. And you cannot have any felony or arrest record. And none of our children should be in that category anyway. So have your children apply for Bright Futures. That's free money, and you guys should get every single free money out there. Next. Now, some of our children, like you'll hear them say, I'm doing AP classes, I'm doing these advanced placement, I'm doing IB classes, information technology classes, I'm doing ACE classes. They're doing all this certification. This is good for them to do. But in addition, this grant requires that you do service hours. Do you guys have a community service department here that's active? Nobody in this church, not for children in this church, should say they don't have any hours. The church provides so much opportunity for you to volunteer. Just make sure that you bring in the information to your school so you can get credit for those hours. This grant requires that you have community service hours. You have those service hours. And a part of high school, I think you need 100 or 180. Yeah, 20-something hours. But you should always strive to get as much hours as you can. I found out with my son, I used to have to drive my son to Broward Hospital. That's close to the airport, Fort Lauderdale Airport. And we live in Boca. I used to drive him because he didn't have a license. And I had to drive him to the hospital because he said he wants to be a doctor and he wants to do his hours. And we started when he was about 10th grade or 11th grade. We started going to the hospital to do his internship. He ended up doing so much hours. He did over 2,000 hours, and he was able to get a scholarship for that. We didn't even know that he was going to get scholarship for that, but he got so much hours, he got the highest hours. Let your children volunteer. It's not only for the hours, it's a good thing. Let them learn to give back of their time to others that needs it, and that we're also teaching them indirectly to help others. And that's what Jesus wants, right? So we're teaching them invaluable lessons that as an adult they will take to their children and their grandchildren. So we're setting the pace for the future. All right? So that's the link to Bright Futures. You can just Google it, Bright Futures, and then see what scholarship. Now I'm going to talk about the Pell Grant. A lot of people don't know about the Pell Grants either. When you apply for FAFSA, there's an option for you to apply for Pell Grant. If you did not apply for Pell Grant, call FAFSA. you should have applied for FAFSA already, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about FAFSA later on. You can get up to $6,095 for Pell Grants. Anything that says grants mean what? Free money. When you hear grants, you should hear free money. So anything that says free money, please, 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 do me a favor, apply for it. You might not get $6,000 or $4,000, but guess what? Whatever they give you is good. You just say, thank you, Uncle Sam, I appreciate it. All right? So please, and also on your FAFSA, make sure you always take work study. Even if you don't plan to work, always take work study. Well, I'm telling you this. My son took FAFSA work study on his application, and because he's in the health field, he wants to be a doctor, there was a situation, job opportunity that came up in JFK Medical in Boynton Beach, and the medical department sent 13 students. 13 students. They had to do the orientation and a test. They chose the two that got the highest score, and he was one of them. So he now works as a scribe in the emergency room at JFK Medical. Now what does this do for him? He's meeting doctors that is in the field. He's building up his professional networking. He's also getting hands-on experience for things that he wants to do. He's learning and he's preparing because he has to do the MCAT at the end of his degree. So what I'm saying, if he didn't take the work study, he would not be one of the students that were selected to go for this opportunity, and he would have missed out. You know, it's good. They start him like $18 an hour, but it's still really good. And he's already making $4,000 every term. So what I'm saying is, do not close the door on any opportunity. Keep them open. Even if you said, oh, I don't want a job right now, still keep it open, because the Lord have a way of doing things when doors open. All right? So where do you find scholarships? I did an intensive search, and I realized that the first place that our young people need to start for scholarship is their guidance counselor at their high school. My son used to say, Mommy, everybody at school know you. I was like, that's fine. But Mom, everybody? Yes. I contact the guidance counselor. She know when I call, oh, Miss Ricketts, when they got a scholarship, guess who one of the first parent they call? Miss Ricketts, because I've been calling so much to ask about every scholarship. Because what happened is that scholarship changed weekly. Weekly. And somebody might just call and say, hey, I would like to sponsor a student. Anybody who is like don't have anybody that been to college, I'd like to sponsor. She called me once and said, hey, I have a $15,000 scholarship for a first-time college student out of the family. I was like, unfortunately, we're not going to qualify for that. But guess what? That came through the guidance counselor's office. She called me back and said, oh, we have a scholarship for $10,000 for anybody who wants to go to medical school. I was like, hey, I'll be there tomorrow 9:30. And I was there. Listen, scholarships come every single week. And she'll give you a booklet and say, these are the running scholarships, but we get the additional scholarship from time to time. Know your teachers, your student teachers. Know the guidance counselors. Be friends with them. Be nice to them. Send them an email thanking them for all that they do for your children. They're serving. If you know what they get paid as teacher, you'll be happy to just say, you know what? Thank you for all you do. That goes a long way, because so little of our parents do that. They'll definitely remember your email. And sometimes they're going through something that day that email gives them the strength to continue doing what they do. The next thing you need, the next place you go is the county website. Palm Beach County website have about 28 scholarships right now. Anybody here gone on the Palm Beach County website? No? You all live in Palm Beach County. You know that, right? Go on the website. See what scholarships apply to you. Now, I have a young man that I know, that when I send him for a particular scholarship, he's like, Miss Ricketts, but they say girls only. I said, apply still, don't matter, apply. He was the only one who applied, they gave it to him. Hey, apply. They said, because you're the only applicant, we awarded you the female scholarship. Hey, free money, it don't matter if it's male or female. Yes, so he got that scholarship and we laugh and joke about it. He said, how come I get a female scholarship? I said, well, it's paying for school, ain't it? Yeah, so we're good. Now, local businesses. I work at this company called Liberty Power in Fort Lauderdale, and one day I was sitting at my desk and I see a scholarship thing came out. And I was like, how come I never heard about this scholarship? And I was like, well, they give it out from year to year. And I was like, only all Latinos on this grant. Well, guess what? They're the only one that knew about it. And this is why I want our children to take away. Almost every company in Palm Beach or your local neighboring states, towns, most of the companies offer some scholarship or the other. You won't know unless you call. And they're not going to advertise it because they don't want to get 100 application or 200 application or thousands of application. You pick up the phone and you said, hey, my name is so-and-so, and I'm calling to find out if you guys have any scholarship. They're like, okay, hold on, let me put you to the department that deals with that. And they will give you the information on how you can qualify. If your parents work at certain companies, ask your parents or grandparents, can you check to see if they're having any scholarships this year and what is the requirement? Get the information and apply. What I'm trying to say, wherever the scholarships are, I need you guys to be proactive and start applying. Stop saying that, you know, you're going to wait and see what the school gives you. You're not doing any work if you're doing that. You're waiting to what the school give you. Do some work and put some work into it. So, and the other thing is local scholarship foundation. And I have information with a scholarship foundation that offers $1.2 million scholarship last year, and I'm very proud my son was a recipient. And I want to tell you that this initiative, what I'm doing right now, is personal, because when I went there, less than 10% of the students were black. There was a lot of Jewish, a lot of whites, and I'm saying, where are my people at? So I'm doing this because I met with the president, and he said to me, Ms. Ricketts, if you do this, I could increase my donors to 2.4 million next year. And I'm like, that's what's up. So I'm doing this so that we can get at least 100 more new applicant, black, minority applicant, so that we can have a visible presence at that foundation. So search in your area, Google it, find out foundations that are applying. I'm going to tell you one, but there's a lot of them out there. And this scholarship foundation has offered a lot. There's nonprofits, and there's also colleges. I told you about dual enrollment. My son did dual enrollment. I didn't know that when you do dual enrollment, you end up with a scholarship for the full time you're at the school. He gets $1,500 every term from FAU just because he did dual enrollment with them. They're not going to tell you these things. Why? Then everybody's going to do it. So I'm here to tell you, and a lot of these things is what we found out during the process. Nobody told us because nobody's sharing those things with you. But I'm telling you so you know the information. Do the dual enrollment and get this free money. Every bit adds up. And this is what is helping him. After he gets his books and everything else, he can take home $4,000. So please, make sure that you're encouraging your young people to take advantage of all the opportunities that are out there. They said the USA is a land of opportunities. It is true. And we need to realize that we're missing a lot of these opportunities. Next slide. So I have a couple of links. I'm going to leave the PowerPoint with the gentleman upstairs, and I'm going to help you, I'm just some of the places that you can go to get the scholarship. Next slide. Next slide. So I did a bit of work to give you a head start. So now I want to talk about this foundation that is in Boca Raton. Last year they gave away $1.2 million. The foundation started in 1982 because the father, George Snow, died in a helicopter crash. He was one of those big investors in those times in Boca. And the children decided they're going to do a foundation in his memory. Next slide. So 2017, they gave away $1.2 million, 202-111-85 cents in scholarship. 147 students. Now you do the math to see how much money one student got. And majority, I would say 75 to 80% of the recipients were Jewish. So I'm used to being like the only black person, because in my department, I'm an IT project manager, and I work against a lot of white, a lot of Indians, and I'm always the only black and the only female. So I'm kind of used to it. But when I sat in that room, and I look around and I was like, oh my God. And I'm like, one black parent over there and another one over there. And I'm looking. And I felt some sort of way. I was like, I'm sure we have some more brilliant people that could get some of this money. What can I do? So my plan is to educate as much as the people that goes to my church. So when I called them and I told them what I was going to do, the president said, well, it's the first time they have ever had a parent step up and do something like this. And I was like, thank you, Jesus. And then he said to me, Miss Ricketts, we have your son for medical school, full ride. We're going to pay for him. So you don't have to worry about that. I was like, oh, thank you, Jesus. So I was like, you know what, Lord, I'm ready to do this because there are more parents in my Southeastern Conference churches that could benefit from this information. And I'm telling you because I want you guys to not be reactive, be proactive, go out there and apply for it. Now, a part of the process is you have to do an interview. Now, I was talking to your education director, and I was explaining to her, you have to prepare for the interview. Because it's like a job interview, but you're going to be competing against other students who goes to this private Catholic school and this other, you know, magnet school and all these other Jewish high-class schools. And some of the things I found out is that they do what is called interview prep. You can't just send your kids and say, go to the interview and don't prepare them. Prepare them for the interview. So when they go there, the interviewer never forget them. Do not just send them out there. Get them prepared. Have them role play. Have somebody who have gotten a scholarship come in and say, these are some of the questions I was asked. This is how you answer it. Make it personal. Give your own personal touch to it. Don't say, yeah, I want to get the scholarship because I want to go to medical school. Oh, yeah? What makes you different? Well, I just think that I could make a difference because I'm good at what I do. Well, that's not an answer competing against some of those Jewish students who said, oh, well, I'm from a long line of medical doctors in my family, and we have been helping people in Boca for the last 30 years. I want to continue the legacy of my father and my mother who does this, and I volunteer here, and I do this. They want to hear from that child. They don't want to hear from you who think that you already got a scholarship that you don't even have. Prepare your children for these interviews so they can go there and do really well. So the president said to me, Ms. Ricketts, if you can get me 100 black students to apply, I can go back to my donors and get them to up it to $2.4 million this year. So this is why I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I want to say, when I go back there, I want to see at least 20 or 30% black recipients. And I need your help to do that. I want you to spread the word with your young people. This is money that you don't have to pay back. When they awarded my son the scholarship, He got a laptop. They gave him a duffel bag. I thought, Devon, what's in there? He got a coffee maker. He got a 256 gig thumb drive. He got a laptop. He got sweatsuit called Snow. And they say, once you're a Snow family, you're a family. They take care of you. So you don't have to apply again. So put in the work and get your kids ready so they pass that interview. Once they're in, they're in. And if they want to come out of college and go work and then go back and do masters, they got you. You're a family. They consider you family. So they'll take care of your children. But we have to get the children ready to a point so they can make that impression when they go for that interview. And what would that do for us parents? You don't have to worry about student loan. You don't have to worry about housing. I mean, they take care of everything. I was so impressed I couldn't believe it. But I believe it because my son got the scholarship, and when I checked FAU, and I was like, oh, they're mailing a check this month. And when I get the check, I had to look at it, go to like, okay. And then the check keep coming, and they keep coming, and they were on time. Within 10 days after the semester add and drop period closed, they mail out the check. What I'm saying is, money is out there, and I want you guys to know so that you can take advantage of it. 147 students, $1.2 million. I think that's impressive. That's something to talk about. So I want you guys to share it. And I have, there's also something else. When I met with the president of the association for lunch, I said, you know what, I also have my young people who are leaving college, leaving high school, but I also have a lot of people who would like to go back to school for something or the other. Do you have anything? You say, you know, Ms. Ricketts, it's a good thing you asked because we just launched a program called the Palm Nursing. And if anybody wants to go to nursing school and they want to be, they have to attend at least the 6 universities I'm going to mention in a little bit, but next slide. They're saying, oh, by the way, the application date for the Georgetown Scholarship opens November 1st and it ends February 1st at 5 p.m. If your child complete the application February 1st at 5:01, it will not be considered. Why? They get thousands of scholarship application. Now, a lot of the application do not qualify because what? They're not in Palm Beach schools. So you already have a one up because you already live in Palm Beach County. So all your children will qualify. Broward, they only do Stoneman Douglas, Ely, and one other school in Dade. Every school in Palm Beach County qualify because what? All of the donors come from Palm Beach County. So we found this out and we were excited. So I'm telling you guys so you guys can get excited and spread it. Next slide. Now, this I was telling you about, this called the Palm Health Adult Nursing. If you know somebody who wants to do a Bachelor in Nursing or a Master's in Nursing, you please go to this website. It's the same website. In the middle of the page, you'll see Palm Health Nursing. They will pay for you to go to nursing school, 100%, part-time or full-time. Said, if you can get me 100 applicants for nursing, I'm telling you, I got them covered. Please, if you know anybody who is going to school for nursing, please tell them to apply. If you know somebody who wants to change a career or whatever and want to go to nursing school, also encourage them to apply. It doesn't have to be a high school student. It could be somebody who is in their 30s or 40s or 50s. It doesn't matter. Age is not a number here. Now, next slide. You have to be accepted in a nursing program either under the undergraduate level or the master's level. So you have to do a BSN or a master's in nursing. Everybody understand? All right. Now the other recipient, the other clauses you have, in order to qualify for the nursing scholarship, you have to live in Palm Beach, Broward, or Martin County. Now again, you already have one up because you all live in Palm Beach County. So you all qualify. If you know somebody else that qualify, bachelor's degree or master's, Palm Beach County you have to live, Broward or Martins County. Those 3 counties are the counties that they're sponsoring for the nursing program. And you have to get accepted into one of the nursing programs. Now the other caveat to this, you have to apply at one of the 6 universities that they're sponsoring. Next slide. The universities are Kaiser University, FAU, Nova Southeastern University. Next slide. Palm Beach State College, South University, and Palm Beach Atlantic University. These are the 6 places that you can apply if you get accepted in their nursing program. And they pay 100%, part-time or full-time. So, this is not only for the children. Adults, there's a little something in it for you if you're in the healthcare field. Okay? So, next slide. They're also having some 8th grade scholarships. Now, these scholarships are for children who are going to some Catholic schools, but they pay for it anyway. So I'll just make a mention of it because I don't know if we have any students that goes to any of these private schools. So private scholarship for student must be attending St. Vincent Ferrara and in 8th grade. Next. And they have to be going to St. John Paul II in Boca or the Cardinal Newman in West Palm Beach. And those are no cheap schools. But you know those are sponsored by either alma mater or, you know, people who are in that faith. So I'm saying if you might not go for you, but you know somebody who goes to those schools, share the information so they also can take advantage of it. Now, the next thing, the second to last thing I want to talk about is FAFSA. FAFSA opens on October 1st at midnight. FAFSA is a first come, first serve. If anybody in here did not apply for FAFSA yet, I am very, very disappointed. You ever hear about the early bird catches the worm? That's the thing with FAFSA. My son applied for FAFSA on October 1st at 12:04 or 12:03. Because I make sure I set my alarm and I wake him up. I was like, hey, it's time. Hey, I'm serious. It's time. And we did the application. In a couple of days, I did the transcript from the IRS and all that. By October 5th, he got his approval. Don't play with me. You got to be on top of these things. It's important. It's your child's education. You either pay or you agree for somebody else to pay. And I agree for somebody else to pay. So, I want you to get serious, and I don't want to hear the excuse from your parent. Oh, I told him to do it. I don't know if he do it yet. It's every bit of your business. And if they don't want to do it, you go do it and let them sign in. I don't have a problem with the application myself. I know he's social. Because if he don't get anything from FAFSA, guess who is going to have to pay? And guess who is not paying? Oh, okay. So I want to know, you have to take the initiative that this is a joint partnership between you and your child. I hate when parents come and say, well, if you not play a film business, you know, take loan, who is going to pay back the loan? Who's going to guarantee it? We got to think through these things, and we have to realize that it's a ripple effect. Because if they take the loan and they default on it, then it impacts your credit as well. It's not happening to me. I'm sorry. We got to figure this out. For FAFSA, you have to be a senior, so you would have to be graduating next year to apply for FAFSA. The good thing about FAFSA, again, you take the work study. Nobody graduate from high school should not apply. Even if your parents can afford it, apply for FAFSA still. Because even the George Snow, they'll pull your FAFSA application. The good thing with George Snow is it's not based on income. They look at a variety of things. How many children in your household going to college? Is this the first child going to college? How much money you make? What is the child GPA? And they determine from all those information how much you will get if they decide to award you a scholarship. Now, if you make X amount of money, but you have X amount of children, they'll also take that in consideration as well. And they will give your child a full scholarship. Because when I went in and I talked to them, I was like, listen, some parents say they make $100,000, but they have 3 or 4 children. It's like, then we'll pay for that child. I was like, we don't care, because it's not that we don't want to pay. We want to make sure that we're giving the right amount of funding to people based on a need. And if the child is really, really good and have an IG, we also know that we're going to give them the extra for that because they work really hard. And that is why so much of the Jewish children qualify, because they also have high GPAs, and even if their parents can afford it, they do a lot of giving back. So the foundation give them back too. So, you know, don't say, oh, I make a certain amount of money, I'm not going to qualify. Since when you are the judge, jury, and executioner? Well, we're going to talk about that too. Now, even if you don't get accepted for the FAFSA, you still apply, because you might not get accepted for the FAFSA, but you might apply for the snow and get the snow. And
let me give you a tip on that too, because I made this mistake, so I can tell you. Sometimes when you don't get, and with the first one, trial and error, so I'm doing better now, you must apply, one, but you have to watch the website and the emails that come. If it says you need to send such and such document, sometimes you have to send a document twice. I think we had to send something, no, for real, because they do us, it's just the way it is. If they say send, don't wait to send it. The longer you take, remember she said first come, first serve, it's a true thing. The sooner you submit all of your documents, that's better for you. And in this case with FAFSA, it's best to have everything by January. Even though you can apply up until June 30th, October, by January, make sure every document they've asked you for, send it. So sometimes when we don't get, we're not answering or following up with the information they're asking us for.
yes, and one of the things, I'm coming to you, one of the things I do, I don't stop calling. I'm telling my son, is like, Mom, you have to call everybody every time. Yes, I have to call everybody every time. This is my business too. And until I get the email that says, oh, your FAFSA has been approved and you need to talk to your school for more information, then I don't stop calling them to follow up what's happening with my application. Keep calling them, because sometimes like, oh, we didn't get your IRS information, we didn't get this information, and you missed the email because it went to your junk. But if you call them and call them, they'll tell you on the phone, and you'll be able to fix it early. By the 7th of October every year, I get that approval letter, email, saying that it's gone to my son's school and whatever. Even if it's not much, whatever they give it, I'll take it. You understand? So until you get that letter to say, because they go to the school, so this is how it works. When you send your application to FAFSA, FAFSA don't give you the money, you know. It's calculated based on the school that you apply. There's a department there that can calculate it based on your EC and your actual amount that the college costs. They have a whole algorithm, and I have it in the slide, that they use to calculate how much you qualify for, right? So even if you don't qualify for none, you still want to do it because you're still going to be able to get maybe the Pell Grant, you may be able to get the work study, and then other scholarship foundation that looks at the FAFSA application will qualify you for other scholarships. So do not say, oh, I'm going to apply because I'm not get nothing last year. That's no excuse, mommy. Apply. Because what happened last year, sometimes the rules for taxes change and the tax bracket change. So although you didn't get anything last year, you might get $1,000 this year. Keep applying. Every year. October 1st, and it closes when? June. And it's a first come. So I know my son is in the top amount of getting whatever money he gets, because what? By the 7th of October, I'm getting that approval letter. Even if, so I know what I need to send from, I did it the first time. So I have everything ready, because I already filed taxes from January. So I have everything electronic. So when I go in and I do the parent section, I upload everything, and I have IRS transcripts and everything attached to the application. So I know I'm done. So within the first couple days of October, he's getting his approval sent to his school. So I know he's getting the maximum because we do it early. Some families are waiting until July, August, like, oh Lord, I need to apply for FAFSA. The money almost done. And I'm here to tell you, for Adventist people, we need to be on top of these things, and we need to stop leaving these important decisions to children who have no clue about the future. We have to guide them, and we have to help them to make this decision. Next slide. So the FAFSA, they look at your family contribution, they look at your year in school, your enrollment status, and how much your school is gonna charge. So they have a whole algorithm for calculating your FAFSA. So the financial aid office at your school's, your child's college that they're gonna go, will look at all of these and will tell you how much you're eligible for. So the application you submit have nothing to do with how much you get. So if you go to an expensive college, if you go to a private college, then you wonder why you not get much. Because they look at how much you contribute as because this thing come out of you, that's why they need your tax return. They look to see how much you contribute. Right? And then they look to how much the school is charging. Right? And then they look to see if this person is going to be full-time or part-time. And they put it in the algorithm and they determine how much you get. Now, if you can help it, send your children to, if they're going to be local in Florida, send them to state schools. It's cheaper than private schools. But like, oh, they don't have what I need to do. Well, go there and do the prerequisite and then transfer 2 years into that school. Please. And if your children don't know what they want to do, send them to the community college. Don't send them to FAU or Kaiser or Nova for $40,000 a year when they don't know what they want to do. Who's going to pay for it? We need to guide our children. We need to guide them. And if we know they don't know what they want to do, and they're good at certain things, do not let them sit home, let them join the army. Worst case scenario. And I'm going to tell you why I'm advising that. Yes. Now, so let me, there's a little bit of confusion right here. Let me help you with that.
Let me explain. They went there because they already had 2 years of junior college in their own state. So they went there as advanced students, and they are on the roll.
Okay, so this is what I'm going to explain to you. Okay, let me explain to Mommy. You have to live in Palm Beach County and go to a school in Palm Beach County if you're in high school. Then if you're in Palm Beach County and you go to any one of the Palm Beach County schools, they don't care where you want to go to college. You can go to college anywhere. They'll pay for it. But you have to live where? Palm Beach County. If you want to do the nursing program, they don't care where you live. But you have to get accepted. Well, they do care where you live. You have to live in Broward, Martin, or Palm Beach. But you have to get accepted at where? The 6 universities that I mentioned. So even though your child can go to any college within the 50 states of the USA, they have to first reside and go to one of the Palm Beach State high schools. You understand, Mommy? So when you are in Palm Beach State High School, they don't care which college you want to go. You could go to a school in Alaska for all they care. Once you get accepted and you get the scholarship, they'll pay for it. If you want to go to Oakwood, they'll pay for it. If you want to go to MIT, they'll pay for it. If you want to go to the Hopkins, they'll pay for it. But first, your child has to be in one of the Palm Beach schools, or go to Stephen Douglas, which is in Parkland, or Ely, which is in Pompano Beach. And I have brochures that the foundation gave me, and they gave me handout, and they gave me a schedule of all the schools that they will be attending and when, that your children can make sure that they go and talk to one of the counselors. What are they studying? Okay, so if the child is in college, but they don't live in Palm Beach County, do they live in Broward or Martin? They used to live in Palm Beach County. Now, they would only qualify for, if they want to be nurses, they will qualify for the nurse scholarship. But they will still qualify for the Pell Grants and some of the other grants that there is. But they would not qualify for the high school George Snow Scholarship. They have to be currently in a Palm Beach County high school or go to Ely or Stoneman Douglas. Okay? Next. So just a quick estimate, the cost of attendance of the school, they calculated that by how much year you want to go. So what I'm trying to say is, there is a whole algorithm for FAFSA to calculate how much you're going to get for financial aid. Next slide. Now, next slide. Co-main cost of the actual cost. And the EFC is the estimated family contribution. So how much you contribute as a family and how much is the actual cost of college, they subtract that, and then they'll tell you that they'll give you $4,000. So if the family contributes, say, $16,000 and the college costs $12,000, they'll give you $4,000. Now, if you contribute $16,000 and the college costs $16,000, you're not going to get any money. It's on your taxes. So when you see that line where they say you're paying to Medicaid or whatever, a portion of that goes towards the EFC, your estimated family contribution. And that is why they need your tax return, because that is what they use to determine your EFC. All right? Next slide. So now we're going to talk about FAFSA. There's 2 types of FAFSA, and I hope everybody knows this. There's a subsidized FAFSA and the unsubsidized FAFSA. Anybody know what the subsidized FAFSA means? What is it? Yes, correct. You're on the right track. The subsidized FAFSA mean if you take out a loan, your child take out a loan for $40,000 because they went to school and every year is $10,000. They will pay the interest and taxes on that up to 6 months after the child graduates. So when you're in school, the money will always be accumulating interest and fees, right? They're going to say, listen, we are going to do you a favor. And we're going to take care of all the interest and fees up to 6 months after you graduate. So when you graduate 6 months time, you'll still owe $40,000. That is the subsidized, but they only do that for undergraduate students. When you're doing your bachelor degree, they only do that for you. Now, the unsubsidized loan, meaning, listen, you're on your own. you borrow $40,000. If it's 2% per annually, plus interest and fees, when you finish, you're going to owe $76,000, whatever it is. This is your baby. You'll figure out how you're going to pay for it. So, this is what I want you to think. I want you to think grants, scholarships, and if you have to take FAFSA, it must be what? Subsidized. They'll try to push the private unsubsidized on you, but guess what? Now you're educated and you know the difference. Never take the unsubsidized unless you have no other option. So grants, scholarships, and then if you're taking, it must be the subsidized one. So now you know what the difference is, right? The subsidized one, they'll pay your taxes, fees up to 6 months after you graduate. But the unsubsidized one, it is your problem. Now, the other thing I'd like to let you know, even if you file bankruptcy, you cannot wipe out the federal loans. They will get you, and they sometimes let you feel like everything is okay for 5 to 10 years, and then they come and they garnish your whole paycheck. And you can't stop them. They will, even if you're dead, they'll go back to the person who has signed on the loan for you and take whatever they have, plus whatever estate you have, they'll take that too. You cannot file bankruptcy and wipe out any student loan. So that is why I want to educate you guys. Do not take any loan unless you have to. Because Uncle Sam don't play. I'm telling you, they don't play. They give you the money and they want it back with whatever they agree, and they're not taking off nothing. So you're going to call them and say, can I have a discount? They'll say, no ma'am, the only thing I can do is put you in a payment plan. And then if you're going to get a refund for your taxes, try your best to get that, because you're not seeing a cent of it. I am telling you so that you have the information to help your young people. Some people, they sit down and they say, oh, I'm just going to get a loan. They need to know what they're getting into. And a lot of time our young people don't read the fine prints until they're in court. And they say, well, I didn't sign to that, but then the signature is right there. Okay? So you guys know the information. And they will give you the loan, and they will approve it quick. And you'll see, all you have to do is just check this and accept when you go to the school website. And they'll give you like $5,500 for the first year and up to $7,500 for the third year. And they'll give it to you. And they're like, oh, you don't have to pay anything until you graduate. And they don't tell you the interest rate either. But they don't even tell you that every month and every day the interest grows either. So now that you know, people, I'm really, really, really encouraging you guys. I don't want to hear that you're going to take, nobody in the Adventist church should be owing $100,000. And by the way, they'll give you up to, I think, $160,000 or $180,000 in student loan. That's how much for a house. And then when they put the interest on that, you'll never finish paying. So I want you guys to think about these things. Next slide. And also, if you want to do graduate school, they don't offer subsidized loan for graduate studies, only unsubsidized. So if you want to do your master's or your PhD and you're thinking about taking a FAFSA, they'll give it to you, $20,500 a year, but they're going to say, listen, every dime plus interest and fees, you better know you have to pay it back. Because they don't do subsidized for anything above a bachelor degrees. All right, so you guys know that information as well. And you can go on the FAFSA website and you can see what the interest is, and you can see how much your payments will be. And there's also loan limits and how much they'll give you up to what as well, and that's also on the website. So you know about the FAFSA. Now they have something called the Federal Perkins Loan. That's also another need-based loan. So the subsidized loan is a need-based. So if you don't make that much money and you spend a certain amount for your expenses, they'll give you the subsidized loan as a need-based. They'll say, we're going to give you a break. We'll give you the loan or the Perkins loan, and you just have to pay back what you borrow 6 months. No interest, no fees, just because we realize that you need a break. And there's some families like that, especially if they have a lot of children. They should take advantage if they don't have any scholarships and grants. And then the unsubsidized, now you have the Federal Plus loan, they have the teacher access loans, they have different loans, and they're like, no, you don't have to do anything, just click accept and we'll just send it to the school. They make it very easy for you to get this money, but they don't tell you how much interest you're going to pay and how much that loan is going to be once you finish school, and that you end up owing over $100,000 in loan. So of course, for those who have children in pre-K, you have the scholarship based on income that you can apply for, and that's the step-up scholarship. So I just want to let you guys know that is income-based. So if you have a lot of small children, and I know you have Doja here, and I'm sure they accept that form of scholarship. And sometimes if your children go to private school, remember my daughter Jadine, who was in the back, she was in a private school in Boca, and one day I just went up to them and was like, do you guys have any scholarship? Like, sure. We applied. We were one of the 3 families that applied, and we got $8,000 a year. Because she was born December, I didn't want her to be kept back in the public school, so I sent her. I'm a teacher back in Jamaica, so listen, I know how this thing works. And we applied for the scholarship, we got it. So she went there for 2 years on scholarship, $16,000 for the scholarship at the private school. When she got to 2nd grade, we transferred her back into the public school. She's in 3rd grade now, and she's the youngest in her class, which we already knew. And she tested on the federal state exam a couple of weeks ago. She got the highest score in math. So I'm telling you, as a parent, you don't have to keep your children back just because the state say that. I'm not big on doing stuff just because somebody say it. I like to look at where my child is, what is good for my child, and I'm a parent who's going to do whatever is the best interest of my children. So that's what we did. So what I'm saying is that if your child go to a private school, ask them if they have any scholarship. They're not going to tell you, but if they have it, you will get it, because so much people don't ask. So what I'm saying, be proactive and start asking. Here we go. You go to your doctor's office. Do you guys by any chance offer any scholarships? Nothing is wrong with that. Because guess what? Because some doctors don't do a lot of, nonprofit stuff, or some companies don't do a lot. They're like, yeah, we could do that, and they could get what? A tax write-off. A tax deduction. So a lot of companies will do that. So wherever you go, always think this could be a scholarship opportunity. Ask, because they're like, oh, we don't have a scholarship, but we have an internship program. Okay, can you give me some information on that? And even if your child don't need it, bring it to the church. Somebody else might be able to use it. So we're networking not only for ourselves, but to help others as well. Amen. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is the military. I have a sister who wanted to go into the military, and we all started to fast and pray. That was when President Obama was in power, and then he was about to come out, and, our new president was going to take him. And we started to fast and pray. It was like, oh, Heavenly Father, please let her change her mind. They're going to send her to Iraq and to Afghanistan. So we started to pray because we didn't want her to go in. Long story short, she joined the Army, and she was an RN before she went in there, so we thought she was crazy. And she went in, and she did 1 term. She said, I only want to do 1 term. I want to serve my country. And she went in, and the U.S. government paid for her to do her master's. 100%. And I'm like, what? I didn't know that. No question asked, no additional contract, nothing. 100%. So she came out of the military with a master's degree. And because she's, you know, she's still a reserve now, so she still get all the benefits and perks or whatever not. But what I'm trying to say is that some of our young people do not know what they want to do. And I used to think that when you go into the army, you don't make any money. That's another misconception again. It depends on what kind of qualification you enter the army with. She was taking home over $65,000 a year as a nurse. She was serving, and whenever she travels out of the country, she wouldn't have to pay income tax on her salary. There is so much benefits. I'm saying is that if your children or your grandchildren or somebody in the church, they don't know what they want to do, there's nothing wrong with joining the army. I know there's always the risk, like in life, there's every risk in everything that we do. So she joined it, and although we prayed, and she came out of the army, and she's always laughing. And because of her joining the army, we were all able to join Navy Federal Credit Union, and I'm another A credit union that they have, and we got so much benefit because we're considered Army family. Right? She was able to buy her house with 0% down. She was able to buy her car with 2% interest. Navy Federal gave her a credit card for 18 months, 0% interest, starting at like $30,000. What I'm saying is that there's a lot of perks if our young people do not know what they want to do. And even if they know what they want to do, if they don't have any scholarship and they don't have any jobs and they don't whatever, let them join. It teaches them discipline. It gives them the experience, give them a chance to travel while they figure out what they want to do. And they pay for it 100%. No question asked, no strings attached. So I want to give you that information because it was a wake-up call for our family, because we're like, the only thing we thought about with the army is that you're going to war. That's the only thing we thought about. And I'm like, oh my God. It was such an eye-opener for us that we were having this misconception all these years. And I just wanted to let you guys know that I found out that information, so I want to share it with you guys to say, if you have children, or if you know somebody in the church that is just sitting at home and they don't know what they want to do, talk to them. The next slide, the military have 5 areas. You have the Army, the Navy, the Marine, the Air Force, the Coast Guard. They can go to any one of those. And they can then decide. And guess when they come out, they're going to be a vet. And if they do 20 years, they can then retire and get that check and do whatever they want to do and get another check. And I didn't know that. But I'm saying to be knowledgeable is a hell of a thing. Because before, we just have a misconception by what people said. But now we know the truth, and I'm sharing it because it might be something that somebody wants to hear at this time that could help them. It's not all bad. There's always the risk of war, yes, but instead of racking up $100,000 and change your major 3-4 times until you decide you want to do, go in the army and let them pay you. They will pay you to serve while you're serving, while you figure it out and start doing 1 and 2 credits, and they'll pay for it 100%. Amen? I know I pack a lot into this presentation, and I really, really thank you guys. If you have any questions, let me know. You have my contact information. Anybody have any questions? I know it's a lot of information, I know.
For the nursing program, can you do later on nurse practitioner or something like that and still be covered under the same program?
Yes, the nurse practitioner would fall under the graduate program, and that is covered. Because I did ask. So if you want to do nurse practitioner. Yes, and you can also give I leave brochure and handouts here that you can give, but you have everybody should have my phone number and my email. I am accessible. I'm willing to answer any questions. Okay, so anybody can call me or text me, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you. I just want you guys to just just take the opportunities. They're there for all of us, and I want you guys to really know, and I'm doing this just to make sure that I can get at least 100 applicants from each one of these so that you guys don't have to stress. And if you guys do well, you will realize that the church will do even better. The church will do even better, because guess what? You're going to have less bills, less everything, you know, and then you can give more to the Lord. And that's what he wants. He wants us to live happily and fulfilled life. Amen? I want to thank you guys again, and turn it over to Sister.
Thank you so much, Sister Ricketts. You've said so much of what we need to hear, and I've been trying to get out. And there are a lot of folks not here this evening. So I would say, when you see a young person next Sabbath, during the week, call them, share the information, because it is so needed. I can tell you personally, I'm standing in that truth. So yes, please share the information. Please give Sister Ricketts another round of applause. And I do have her number. If you need it, you can get it from me. Oh, thank you. Okay, great. So it's on the screen. You can copy that. Just take a picture. All right. Okay. So we've come to the end of our program. Thank you for staying by. We're going to stand and have prayer and close out the evening.